Yeah, well, it's a word that's popping up a lot more these days, actually, in all sorts of different situations and circumstances. So, well, there's a few different meanings. I mean, coherence in physics terms just means synchronization within a system. So there can be, anything could be a system, but what's happening is the system becomes synchronized or ordered in its operation. So if we think about that in terms of humans, then the heart is a system. So when we get coherent, the heart goes into an ordered pattern where the rhythm begins to speed up and slow down in a progressive way. So most of the time our heart rhythms are just kind of doing what they're doing based on what we're feeling or what we're doing, and they might be chaotic or they might be a little bit more ordered. But we can intentionally control that, and what happens is the heart rhythm goes into this pattern where it speeds up and slows down. It's what our technology measures, and you can see it as like a waveform of speeding up, heart rate slowing down, heart rate speeding up, slowing down. So it's going into this repeating pattern cycle, oscillations. Now, coherence also can apply to multiple systems. So what's happening within our bodies is the heart's the largest rhythm maker in the body, bar none. And when the heart goes into this coherent rhythm, the other systems will follow its beat, basically. By which I mean, the respiration, the blood pressure, metabolism, brain waves. You tend to go into a high alpha state when you're in coherence. So all these other systems sync up and they begin to function optimally. So that's an amazing thing. It does a few amazing things. It impacts the brain, so the brain synchronizes and becomes coherent, and we get more activity in the prefrontal cortex, so we can think and act much more logically, rationally, empathetically, creatively, etc. But it's also, yes, helping the body to go back into balance. So it also facilitates homeostasis. So you're bringing the autonomic nervous system into this state of balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic. And the effect of that, or the impact of that basically, is it's putting you in the perfect state for the homeostasis to occur and for the body to essentially rebalance, re-regulate, organize itself and begin to send resources to the parts that it needs to send them to rebalance, hormonally, or even in terms of literally repairing yourself on a cellular level. So that's what we mean by coherence. I mean, also in lay speak, coherence means clarity of thought, and when you get coherent, you can think more clearly as well. But yeah, coherence it's popping up more and more, and what we know is that it operates everywhere. I mean, right from the tiniest level of protons and atoms behaving coherently, right up to galaxies literally behaving coherently, moving in patterns together. So it's a fundamental force of nature. What's interesting for us as humans is that there's a lot out there in our worlds and in here in our worlds that knock us out of coherence, but we can control it intentionally. We can create it, and then we can use the power of our own hearts to spread that coherence, if you like, throughout the rest of the body and the brain. And then when we've done that, we can even use that coherence out into our environment, in our relationships with others. We even have the potential, if we're coherent, to entrain other people into coherence. So we have the potential, so long as this is being done from the heart, not in a manipulative way, but if I really listen to you from my heart and I'm coherent and I'm emitting coherence into our field, chances are that you'll also become coherent. And some of the really exciting research, some research that we're involved in around it in as well, is around synchronization. And we know that when people feel feelings of love, care, appreciation for each other, or when one person leads that people synchronize physiologically. Their heart rhythm synchronize, their brain patterns, brain waves synchronize as well. So that's what coherence is. It's a wonderful thing, and we all need more of it. Okay, we're keeping it very simple. We don't have lots of massively different techniques or anything like that. We prefer to keep our techniques very simple as well in terms of the languaging. So we don't tend to go in for long, deep guided meditations or anything like that. It's much more about just helping people find a way simply to connect with and for themselves. So yeah, I like to think we keep it simple. I think maybe what we're doing differently is through the technology is we're making this something that's available to people who might otherwise ignore this type of stuff, so particularly people who are like, well, do me a favor, don't talk to me about breathing or going to your happy place, that can't solve the world's problems. It's like, well, actually it can, but if we've got a piece of technology that enables people to realize that these techniques work, and provide a method for you to objectively validate their working and to prove that you can develop that skill over time and get better at it, then I guess that's something we're doing differently. We're bringing objectivity to what's otherwise a subjective experience. And I think that lots of people are interested, thankfully, in mindfulness, in meditation, in some of the other kind of reflective arts and practices and yoga, and it's never been more popular. We know that. I think the problem is a lot of people give up really quickly. Certainly the data around things like mindfulness apps would show that. I mean, I found this out the other day, but only 4% of people sustain their use of mindfulness apps. The big names, only 4% of people after 30 days continue to use them. So there's a big problem. It's great that people are interested in this stuff, but they're abandoning it really quickly, and therefore they're not reaping the benefits. We know that this stuff takes practice. It takes dedication. It's not magic. It needs to be a daily practice. So I think maybe one of the other things we're doing that's different is providing some of those people who would otherwise give up with a reason to keep doing it. And if that reason is that they want to measure themselves and monitor their score or beat their score the next day, then if that works for them, then that's great. And of course, it's not for everyone. Not everybody's interested in the technology. Not everybody needs the technology. So we don't pretend that we've got an answer for everybody either. But yeah, I guess that's the main differences with what we're doing and how we're doing it.